There comes a time in every chosen one's life when the weight of innocence feels heavier than the burden of guilt. You've been judged, misunderstood, and falsely accused, not because you were wrong, but because your presence disrupts the illusions others have built. They tried to paint you as the villain in their own scripted lies, hoping you would bow under the pressure. But they underestimated the power of divine truth. The very accusations meant to tarnish your name have become the ink writing your legacy. Every whisper, every slanderous remark, every betrayal was not a curse, it was a test. And now that test is over. The verdict has been reached, and justice is no longer pending. The weight of heaven's scales has tipped in your favor. What was done against you in secrecy is now exposed under the brilliance of unrelenting truth. The judgment is not just in your favor, it was never against you to begin with. Some of you have been questioning why you had to endure so much, why the storms kept coming, why the betrayals cut so deep. But hear me clearly, you were never meant to crumble under the weight of their deceit. You were meant to rise in spite of it. The opposition was proof of your calling. The resistance you faced was confirmation of your purpose. And now, as the dust settles, you are about to witness what happens when divine justice steps in. Write 77 in the comments if you can feel it. If you know deep down that your moment of victory is near, if you refuse to let the lies define you, if you're ready to walk into the season that was promised to you, because the time has come. The tables have turned, and the ones who doubted you, who worked against you, who tried to silence you, they will have no choice but to watch as you step into your rightful place. The divine reversal, your trials were not in vain. There are forces in this world that believe they can twist reality to fit their agenda. They spread lies, they manipulate, they conspire in the shadows, thinking that their deception will stand unchallenged. But divine law is not fooled. The universe does not operate on human deceit, it operates on truth. And chosen ones, you have been carried by that truth all along. Some of you have been put on trial, not in a courtroom of walls and judges, but in the unseen court of life itself. People have whispered against you, plotted against you, accused you of things you never did. And for a time, it seemed like their words held weight. It seemed like you were losing, like no one could see the truth. But that was never the case. The unseen hand of divine justice was already working in your favor. What they didn't realize is that the very words they used against you would become the catalyst for their own downfall. The lies they told are now unraveling. The stories they fabricated are collapsing under the weight of their own contradictions. Their words were nothing more than paper castles in the wind, temporary, fragile, and ultimately powerless. And now, those same voices that once spoke against you must bear witness to their own reckoning. This is not just karma. This is not just consequence. This is divine alignment in its purest form. Every falsehood spoken against you is being reversed. Every scheme that was meant to entangle you is now falling apart. Every attempt to block your progress has become a stepping stone in your ascent. They thought they were silencing you, but all they did was amplify your purpose. And now, in this moment, I invite you to step into alignment with this truth. If this message resonates with you, if you feel the shift happening in your life, consider taking a step beyond words. Click the super thanks button and contribute to the mission of spreading divine truth and awakening others who need to hear this message. This is more than support. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you stand in alignment with your destiny. And when you give, when you sow into the truth, the blessings will return to you tenfold. Because let me tell you something, what you put into the world you get back, what you stand for you attract. And chosen ones, it is time to claim what is yours. Your trials were not in vain, your suffering was not meaningless. And the very people who worked against you will be the ones who have to watch you rise. The unseen hand of justice, how truth destroys deception. Deception is a fragile illusion. It may weave intricate lies, it may manipulate reality for a time, but it is always temporary. The truth does not need to fight for its place. It simply exists, waiting for the moment when the falsehoods crumble under their own weight. And that moment is now. There are those who thought they could rewrite your story, who attempted to reshape the narrative to fit their own desires. They whispered behind closed doors, casting doubt where there was none, poisoning minds against you before you even had the chance to speak. But they made a fatal miscalculation. They underestimated the power of divine exposure. You see, the truth has a way of revealing itself at exactly the right time. It is not gradual, it is an implosion. The same people who built their reputations on deception will watch as their own foundations crumble. The walls they constructed to keep you out are now caving in on them. The lies they spread are suffocating them. Their words have become a trap of their own making. They thought they could control the outcome. They thought they could silence the truth. But truth is relentless. It does not yield, it does not bend, and it does not disappear simply because someone wishes it to. It waits, and when the time is right, it strikes with precision. And chosen ones, you are witnessing this unfold in real time. People who once held power over you are now losing their grip. The ones who sought to bury you are being swallowed by their own darkness. This is not coincidence. This is divine justice. This is the hand of the universe setting things right. So do not waste your energy trying to prove yourself. Do not chase validation from those who were never meant to see your worth. Integrity does not require defense when falsehood is busy dismantling itself. You do not need to clear your name. Their actions will do that for you. You do not need to fight back. The collapse of their own deception is punishment enough. And when the dust settles, when the truth stands alone in its undeniable brilliance, you will still be here, unshaken, unbroken, unstoppable, because the truth does not just prevail, it radiates, and no amount of deception can withstand the force of revelation. Your rise is inevitable, the fall of those who opposed you. There are those who have built their confidence on the illusion that they held power over you. They believed that their slander, their deception, and their manipulation could shape your destiny. They mistook their momentary advantage for permanence, thinking they could rewrite the truth and make it stick. But they forgot one crucial fact: nothing built on falsehood lasts. The path of the chosen one is never without resistance. The forces that opposed you didn't do so because of your weakness, but because of your strength. They saw something in you, something powerful, something divine that terrified them. Instead of embracing the light within themselves, they sought to extinguish yours. They plotted, they schemed, they waited for your downfall. But in their blindness, they failed to see the trap they were setting for themselves. Because the truth is this: the very obstacles they placed in your way have only strengthened you. Every betrayal, every false accusation, every attempt to bring you down has built you into something they can no longer touch. While they were busy trying to hinder your progress, they were unknowingly forging your resilience. And now, the very thing they feared most is happening before their eyes. Your rise is inevitable. It doesn't matter what they said about you. It doesn't matter how they tried to frame your story. It doesn't matter what they whispered behind closed doors. The moment has come when they will have to face what they've done, not because you sought revenge, but because divine order has a way of balancing the scales. The foundation they built on deception is crumbling beneath them. And the most ironic part, the only thing they can do now is watch. You don't need to fight back. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't even need to acknowledge their downfall. The most powerful thing you can do in this moment is rise. Stand in your truth. Move forward with confidence. Their opinion of you has never mattered. Only the divine plan for your life does. And that plan, it is unfolding right now. Divine timing. Your delay was never a denial. So many of you have questioned why things took so long. You have wondered why doors didn't open when you expected them to, why your breakthrough seemed out of reach, why you were left waiting while others moved forward. But let me tell you something that will change your perspective forever. You were never being denied, you were being prepared. There is a reason certain opportunities were delayed. There is a reason some people walked away. There is a reason things didn't happen the way you wanted them to, because what is coming for you is bigger than you imagined. And if you had received it too soon, you wouldn't have been ready for it. Some of you have been hidden, and you mistook it for rejection. But what if I told you that you weren't being overlooked? You were being protected. There were things that needed to be worked out in the background, before you could step into your season. There were doors that needed to be closed before the right ones could open. There were people who needed to be removed before they could sabotage what was meant for you. Because when divine timing is in play, everything happens with precision. Not a second too soon, not a moment too late. When it is time, things will fall into place so effortlessly that you will look back and realize why the waiting was necessary. You were not meant for average. You were not meant for small opportunities. That's why your process was different. That's why you had to endure what others did not. Because when God moves on your behalf, He does not do it halfway. The doors He opens, no one can shut. The favor He grants, no one can take away. And when it is time for you to step into your purpose, nothing, no person, no circumstance, no past mistake can stop what has already been written for you. So stop questioning the delay. Stop doubting the process. Everything is aligning exactly as it should. And when your time comes, it won't just be an opportunity, it will be a divine appointment. Opposition is a sign of purpose. Why you were tested so harshly, you were never meant to live an easy life. The moment you were chosen, the moment you were called for something greater, resistance became part of your path. The trials you faced were not random. The betrayals, the setbacks, the moments of isolation, none of it was by accident. They were all signs of the magnitude of your purpose. There is a reason some of the most powerful souls endure the harshest trials. The enemy does not waste time attacking what is weak. He targets what is strong, what is destined, what carries the light of divine purpose. That is why you faced so much opposition. That is why, no matter how kind, how righteous, how pure your intentions were, there were still people who tried to bring you down. But here is what they never realized. Every attack, every hardship, every attempt to break you only made you stronger. Every battle refined you, shaping you into someone unshakable. They thought they were stopping you, but in reality they were preparing you. Think about it. Why do you think some of the greatest figures in history faced the most intense resistance? Because they were meant to change the world. And you, chosen one, carry that same energy. But there is something powerful you must understand. Not everyone is meant to go with you. Some people were part of your journey, but not part of your destination. Some connections were seasonal, meant to teach you lessons, but not to stay. You have to stop holding on to what was and start embracing what is coming. Because the higher you rise, the more selective your circle must become. Not everyone can handle the weight of your purpose. Not everyone will understand your calling. And that's okay. You are not here to be understood. You are here to fulfill your destiny. So stop looking for validation from those who were never meant to see your worth. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. Your value does not decrease just because someone fails to recognize it. The trials you faced were never a sign of your weakness. They were proof of your strength. And now, as you step into your next season, remember this. Those who opposed you, those who doubted you, those who tried to break you, will soon have no choice but to watch as you rise. Your transformation is complete. The eagle rises above the storm. There is a reason why the eagle is different from every other bird in the sky. When storms come, other birds seek shelter, fleeing in fear. But the eagle, it spreads its wings and allows the very winds of the storm to lift it higher. What others fear, the eagle embraces. What others avoid, the eagle uses for elevation. And that, chosen one, is exactly what has been happening to you. The storms you faced were not meant to destroy you, they were meant to lift you. Every hardship, every betrayal, every moment when it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on you was actually preparing you for altitude. Do you understand now? You were never buried, you were planted. The darkness you endured was not a grave, it was soil. The pressure you felt was not the end, it was the beginning of your transformation. There were moments when you questioned whether you could take another step. The burden of being misunderstood, of being judged unfairly, of having your character assassinated by people who never even took the time to know you, it was heavy. But here's what they didn't understand. You don't break. You adapt, you endure, you rise. And now, as the winds of change begin to blow, you are no longer grounded by the weight of their words. You are no longer confined by the limitations they tried to place upon you. You have risen, and they will have no choice but to watch as you soar beyond their reach. You don't need to prove them wrong. You don't need to argue your case. Your existence is proof enough. The moment you stopped explaining, the moment you stopped seeking validation, was the moment you took flight. And now nothing can hold you back. The eagle never concerns itself with the opinions of crows. It flies too high for them to follow. And chosen one, that is exactly where you are headed, higher. Supernatural victory, the blessing that cannot be taken from you. You have entered a season where what is meant for you is no longer up for debate. There is no force, no enemy, no deception strong enough to take what has already been sealed in your name. The tables have turned, and what once seemed impossible is now unfolding before you. The people who once underestimated you, who dismissed you, who tried to block your path, will soon have no choice but to witness your elevation. And here's the most powerful part: you won't even be concerned with their reactions. By the time they realize what has happened, you'll be too busy walking in your blessing to care. This is divine victory. This is justice at work. The things you lost, they are being restored multiplied. The opportunities you thought had passed, they are returning to you, but this time at a level you never imagined. The delays you thought were setbacks, they were simply alignments for something greater. You see, when God decides it is your time, no one can stop it. There is no meeting, no strategy, no opposition that can change what has already been written. You are stepping into supernatural victory, but let me tell you something: some people will not be happy about it. They thrived when you were struggling. They felt powerful when they had influence over your name. And now, watching you succeed will shake them to their core. But do not let their bitterness distract you. Do not let their envy slow you down. You don't have time to explain how you got here. You don't have time to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. You were chosen for this. Walk boldly into your blessing. And if you feel aligned with this message, if you know deep in your spirit that this is your season, then now is the time to step into that blessing. You can support this mission by using the Super Thanks button below. Your generosity is not just about giving, it is about aligning yourself with abundance, about stepping into the overflow that has been prepared for you. When you give, you are not just supporting a message, you are sowing into your own elevation. And the return will be greater than you ever expected. Because what is coming for you is not just a breakthrough, it is a supernatural shift. You were born for this moment. Look at where you are now. Look at everything you have endured, everything you have survived. The betrayals didn't break you. The rejection didn't stop you. The lies didn't define you. You have emerged stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. This was never about proving them wrong. This was about stepping into who you were always meant to be. They called you too sensitive, but in reality, your sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to see beyond illusions. They called you different. But in reality, you were never meant to blend in. You were always meant to stand out. You are not just anyone, you are a chosen one, and that means something. It means your journey was always going to be different. It means your struggles were never ordinary. It means your victories will be even greater. And now you are stepping into a new chapter, one where the people who doubted you no longer have power over your story. You write your own narrative now. There will still be challenges, but you are not the same person who once doubted themselves. You know who you are now, you know what you carry, and no amount of opposition, no amount of deception can change that. So keep moving forward, keep standing in your truth, and most of all, keep soaring, because when you were born to fly, no storm can keep you down. If this message has spoken to you, if you know deep in your heart that you are stepping into your divine season, then take a moment to support this mission. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And if you feel led, you can use Super Thanks to be part of something greater, to help spread this message to others who need to hear it. Because chosen ones, you are not alone. Your voice, your presence, your very existence matters. And the world is about to see exactly why. It is your time. Walk boldly into it.